So something that I have realized is that, we've been going through the last couple of months and doing like a sprint essentially of all these different features that we need to have in the game, trying to get them in just like any kind of shape or form so that they're there and they exist and we can start to build around them. And one of the things that I had always wanted to do was like secondary abilities. And I plan to do this through the mod chips. So we've got the tech in place to actually be able to equip that, but we need to actually design how that works within the player so that we can get it to work. So one of the ones that I wanted to do was sort of like he can shoot a missile or like a barrage of missiles, and it would be something that you activate. And you wouldn't, like, obviously when you're doing this ability, I think the other one that we brainstormed was like a big laser in a straight line. So just stuff like that you can do that does like a lot of damage, but sort of maybe immobilizes you. So you have to like choose when to use it, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to start on working on today. And hopefully we'll have it done by the end of the weekend. It should be pretty straightforward. It's going to be pretty similar to the weapon manager, but it also will need a player state because my idea is that these secondary abilities immobilize you. So there's going to be a need for an additional state in the player state, although it doesn't do anything. So, there's that too. So that, and yeah, the weapon manager. So let's get started. Last night I already put in place the mod for it. So in the mod chip list, or even in the mod chip script itself, I created an enum for ability and stat, so we can differentiate between the two. And then I added an additional slot. So in the mod chip list, which is like the manager, you've actually got the mod chip equipped. I haven't changed the name. It should probably be changed, but it's just easier if it stays the same. And then the ability mod chip, and you've got like an equip list for either. So in theory, we could extend it. Like we could make collectibles that make this more. I don't really intend to make abilities more, but like you could make mod chips more. This could actually be 2 instead of 3. So that you have 3 available chips to begin with. 1 for your abilities and then 2 for mod chips. And then like you could collect additional slots as time goes on or whatever the heck. So, that is where we're at. I think what we do... Pon, welcome. We create it can be a node 2D as the same as the weapon manager, and we want to put this up the top. And this... we can call this the ability manager. Right. And then we can attach a script. Found me on YouTube. Yeah, I'm here. I'm on both platforms. And inherits node 2D, which is fine. And we can put this in the scripts. Under the player scripts. We'll need to create a separate script for every single ability. Player ability. Manager. Open, create. Okay, and this will just be called the ability manager, so we'll give it a class name. Like that. And realistically, the main thing that this needs to do is like, we need to have a couple of different functions, like add ability. So we can, like when we actually equip something, this will be a child of this node, and it'll have all the instructions on what to do, like what animation to play, all that kind of stuff. So we'll add ability, and it'll just be an ability of type ability, although that doesn't exist yet. I don't know if that's a good name either. Do we want it to be called ability? I have so much struggle with naming. I got ability menu, ability dash icon. What is this? Ability dash icon. Oh, this is, yeah, this is confusing as well. This is meant to be like your actually movement unlocks as well. So that's confusing. So I should probably consider like renaming that. Like when we think about that. Tall pivot. Tall sprite. Trail sprite. Okay. Yeah. Things to think about before we get too deep into this. But we are going to need to create an additional script, so I'll go to the player. Put the ability manager, we'll create a new folder for abilities. I guess we're going with that. Oh well. Okay. And yeah, so this will be... Oh, I guess I just need to create as well a script here. Abilities. That's... Rename this. Be with the Y. Okay. And who knows what this does yet? We're not there yet. But we take one when we add it. We'd even have we don't have it. Like, we don't really... Oh, do we... What am I saying that this extends node to? This will be... It could be a node 2, or it could be a node. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it could be either. Honestly, and so could this. It's much of a muchness. And there will be need for unhandled input. It's essentially just going to be like, yeah, I guess we'll just have like a variable for the child, like, and we'll just call it current ability, and it'll be an ability, and then we will say here like current ability dot like activate or something like that, and that's all that needs to happen probably. Although we're skipping a step because we need to go if is action pressed. If event is action pressed. And then I've got one already created. What's it called? Secondary ability. And then we just do that, right? Probably rename that, eh? Ability, are we gonna add child? So like, I guess we're gonna say if get children I guess, what do we do here? Do we say if current ability, then current ability dot key free? And then I guess it's going to be key free call deferred. Queue accessibility, queue free. Is it just call deferred? I forget how to do that. All deferred, queue free. Sus on my spelling, but I guess it's correct. And then, maybe I just want to call Q3 rather than call inverted. We'll see if we get away with it. Because I want then the current ability to be equal to ability. And I don't want it to be deleted. And then we add child. Like that. Something like that. We'll see how that works. And then we've got activate. Cool. And that's really it. I guess we could have like a remove ability function. And that's really all it needs to do. Probably needs to emit a signal of some sort here. Like it's not super complicated. And then the actual child has all of the functionality in it, essentially. So we add it to this, and it can be anything then. Like when you press the button, we're just activating the current ability. We're not like giving it any other instructions than that. And then that means that we can have like multiple customizable different things. It's just gonna need to have like instructions on what to do and where. So like if we had, for example, I do think these need to be Node 2D because like I can make them scenes then, and I can give them certain things. So like if I wanted to spawn, because I had this idea for doing like a missile barrage, right? So if I called this barrage, okay, and then like we add a bunch of markers. And like, I guess like it'd probably be way easier if I program it rather than create scenes for it. Not scenes, create objects for it, but like just to visually show you guys like what I was thinking about doing with it is like you're gonna have all of these markers. And do like a one. They all go out from these positions, basically go around in an arc, but then they'll lock on to whatever the closest enemy is. However that would work, I actually don't know, but like it doesn't matter from the perspective of this object. It just needs to spawn them, and then the whatever it spawns will handle that. But like then, so okay, you've got all these markers. We're gonna loop through all of them, and then do whatever. But the actual ability itself needs to be like a very basic class. So it's not that different from a state, really. Like if you look at a state, all it is a bunch of functions that just return. So it's very, very similar. Except we don't have like next state and finish. Like we don't have those. It's just gonna really be, what did I call it? Activate. So right now, it's just that. And it returns void, and we just return out of that. And we not save ability. Okay. Missile bar. Oh, we're saving this scene. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, well, yeah, we can save this scene under scenes player. Scenes player, really? There's nothing else in here? Okay. And then here we attach a script, and it inherits ability. And then we just override that function. And so all the complicated stuff goes here, rather than, you know, in the rest of the script. So we can keep it so that we can have like any number of these different things, because we're just doing that on the inherited object. Okay, let's get to the player. We want to get to scripts. Under player, ability manager abilities, missile barrage. And then you create. Right. And then we can just like put whatever we want in here, so we can get an export var of like missile points. And it's going to be an array of markers. Right. And then you can just add them all. What is there? 5? 6. It's probably easier just to get children. Don't know. It depends what else gets added to this. We're gonna do it like this for now. Okay. We also need to create the missiles for this. So that's fine. We're basically just gonna go, we'll override that one. Activate, and then for I in missile points, basically spawn missile points. But I'll just put a pass in here. Right. We have missiles already. I wonder what they do. So we got these. Up direction. Speed, acceleration, force. Does it have like a target? Because they follow this, they play it like they're targeting the player normally, but I think they're vague enough, right? It just targets a character body 2D. In theory, that we could just change that to a node. What else does the target do? We get its global position. So yeah, this 100% could just be a node 2D. So then, as long as we're telling it what the right target is, then we're all good. So what we can also do is we can add an area 2D to this, and we give it a collision shape. Hi bro. Is that sus? Like hi bro, but then it's like at B. Think I'm just gonna ban you, man. Ban evasion monitoring. Would this be allowed to post into chat? Too slow. Too slow to respond to anything. Okay, so yeah, we've got the area 2D and then the collision shape. Don't know why I can find that. Make it a circle. Is it an area 2D or is it a shape cast? Actually might make this a shape cast because I think there's an easy function we can use to get all the objects within it. And then just make it a circle. But then the direction, max results, we only need 1. No, that's actually the one that we want to get. Is Godot soundtrack? We're using music by Game Chops, which does tend to have like a fairly large amount of Pokemon. So Azalea Town, Super Lo-Fi 64, Poker Tape 2. No AI, alright? But it's good for, it's safe for live streams. Although I have got pinged a couple of times. It's probably the best one that I've found so far if you just want like music that's not going to get you copywritten stricken, but it's like video game music. The following files are newer on disk. Okay, fine. Wrong city, but still Johto. Okay. Have I got multiple versions of this open? Why did it say that? Oh, okay. Weird. That's not how that works. Collide with areas. Actually, no, it collides with bodies, and then you look for enemies. Target position is not that far. Look at all these shapes. How big do you make this? I don't know. We're going to put it on the player and we'll figure it out in a second. 100 pixels is pretty wide. 100 pixels is like the entire screen, right? Project. It's not how the project works. It's it's 300. It's 180 tall, 320 wide, I think. So 100 is pretty small. Honestly, it could be bigger. Something like that, and it collides with enemies. Oh, it doesn't have the script anymore either. What the heck? Don't know what happened there. And now it's gotten cranky. Okay, I am going to change this then. Node 2D. Grab all of these markers. Missile start points. Pop this out because it's a bit small. Missile points. It's node 2D. And then it's get children, right? So now it could be an infinite number of them. But that's fine. Okay, and then the other one is a shape cast, right? Shape. Enemy detector shape cast. Okay. Shapecast 2D. And then basically what we're going to do is we're going to get the point, and that will be the starting point for the missile. And then also we're going to detect the closest enemy to that point. So in theory, it could be something different to what's at the front of the player. But you know, we'll see. The hope is that these all go out in different directions. But if it all concentrates on one enemy, then it's going to do a lot of damage. We'll see how much damage. I don't know how the damage is calculated for these missiles. I'm hoping it's something that I can set in the editor, but if not, we'll have to change it because the enemies do use this same exact object. We'll probably make it different at some point, but for now, that's just how it is. So we have for iron missile points, get missiles. So then actually we need the pack scene as well. Do we bring that in as an export or do we just hard code it? I think we'll just export that as a pack scene. Missile, because then that way we can change it. Be easier. Just a little bit extra effort to load it. So we'll set these missile points, the shape cast, and then the missile scene is projectiles. It's a character body 2D, which is pretty funny. Speed, acceleration, shear force. So I guess the damage is on the hitbox then? It's just 20. Okay, so I want to change this a little bit. and it won't affect the way it works in. So for the enemies to use this, I think it's fine. Basically, we'll create a function and an export variable here. It's a class name homing missile, so theoretically we can just like have this be inherited or whatever. Set damage hitbox, right? And then it's hitbox, right? Then set damage. And it's an amount. And it's a float, and it returns void. Void. Okay, so then we can just say hitbox dot damage equals amount. Right. Nice and simple, so that we just create a function for that, and then we just close that and set the hitbox. Right. So that way I can control that these don't do 20 damage, because that's like a lot for the player to do. I think the regular bullets don't even do that much. And I'm not even sure if it's... I'm pretty sure it's 10. So it'd be double, and you're going to shoot 6 of these, so that would kill pretty much anything on screen. So I think it's better... in my head, 5 is a better damage amount for these, because if you land every single one of them, then you do 30 damage, maybe 10, 60 damage. That's quite a lot. That'll kill every single 20 is enough to kill pretty much any enemy. What does the tank have? The tank has the most health. Health. It has 50. So yeah, if you landed everything on a tank, then it would die. I suppose that's fine. 10. We'll go with 10. We'll set it as an export variable. Okay. So here we've got the things. So we can load in this pack scene. I guess we can do it on a per basis rather than duplicate. New missile. Homing missile is equal to missile scene dot load or instantiate. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then we can say we probably need to create a function to get target, and that's going to return a node. But it also needs to take a position. That can also be a node 2D. So we'll do it all here, and then we can say get target, and we pass in I, right? But it's also var, so like tar get equals. And so we can go shapecast, right? Shapecast. What is it called? Enemy detection. Dot get closest collision safe. Get colliders. Get ROD. Get count. Get collision count. Shapecast 2D. Okay, so we got functions. Get collision count. Get collision normal. Get collision is colliding. Set collision. So counter probably is the... I thought like get closest collision returns the fraction from its cast closest to its target position of how far the shape can move without triggering a collision. That's not really what I'm after. Get collision count. Get the number of collisions detected at a point of impact. Use this to iterate over multiple collisions provided by get collider shape, and get collision point, and get collision. Multiple collisions as provided by get collider. Returns the collided object from one of the objects at index or null if no. Okay, so we can loop through that and then get everything that we're colliding to if it's colliding. I think that would be the way to go. So we can say if enemy detection shapecast dot is colliding, or is there like an area 2D? Does area 2D have the same functions? Because this seems kind of like clunky. I think I'm maybe going down the wrong path with this. Let's just check area 2D. Get overlapping bodies, I guess probably would work better, if not as well. So maybe we pivot to that before we get too deep into this. Returns a list of intersecting physics 2D bodies and tile maps overlapping the layer. Yeah, that's probably better. Okay, close this. So we can change this. Change to an area 2D. Let's change its name to enemy detection. And add an area 2D. No, add a collision shape. Okay, and then make that a circle and give it a radius of about 100. Maybe more even. I don't know, we'll have to play around with that. Should it just detect everything on screen? Should I just make it a big square? Like, I just go, yeah, the typical resolution here is going to be 320/180. Hang on, I'm going to turn the fan on as well. It's getting kind of hot. Okay. So now what we're going to do is probably just say enemy detection cast shape is okay, so this needs to be changed to a area 2D, right? Change its collision area to be, oh, let's how to get that, enemy and enemy, because I'm not sure which one it needs to be, and then we can get let's pop this. So let's say enemy, so we create a variable called targets, and it's going to be an array, and it's going to be equal to enemy detection shape cast. Let's change its name and just call it enemy detection dot get overlapping bodies, right? And that returns an array of node 2D, right? So we can type that. And then we will say we're going to loop through that. So first we want to check like if targets is empty, dot is empty, then I guess we're going to just bail out, but we'll just put past that for a second. I will create a target and it's going to be a node 2D, and then we'll just return that, return target, right? Easy. And then, but we can say for I in targets, then we want to get the closest position to our from node. So we are going to loop through each of them and then work out which one's closest. So we can just probably starting with one of them, distance. And this is a vector 2, right? And it's going to start to vector 2.0. And we'll say targets, or I in targets. Then we can say that the one that we're looking for, so we'll say the check distance, we'll call it, that's fine. Target distance. And this is a vector 2, I think. And then we can say that it goes from dot distance to from dot global position, I should say, dot distance to, and then I dot global position, right? Target distance. It's a float. Okay. That's fine. Let's fix that up. I always forget distance and direction. I get them confused all the time. But we care about distance. So then we can say if target distance is less than we want it to be less than. Interesting. Because I'm setting it to 0, then what am I going to say? If it's less than distance, then I guess we could just say that, like, from, we could do like the very first one in the array. Like, how do we get our starting point? From distance to target 0. Let's just sample the first one or something like that. I don't know. That'll work. Then we can say if target distance is less than, because we want the closest one is less than distance. Now this is going to be a loop. So then if it's less than distance, then distance equals target distance. Why is it so cranky at me? Invalid argument for distance 2 functions should be vector 2, but it is argument 1, but is a node 2D. Global position. Happy? Oh my god. It's really not. Cannot assign value of float variable to okay, so this is all because I got that confused. Yeah, is it happy now? Are we happy? Target distance is distance equals target distance, and then we also say that target equals I. So we set that as the target, and then we'll just loop through, and whatever's smaller gets set. So it'll just be the smallest one at the end of the day, in theory. Why is it cranky there? Target is used before being assigned a variable. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's intentional. Because then we can say, like, if target, then we're going to spawn a whatever. We're gonna spawn the missile. So, probably new missile. We don't need that until here. Oh yeah, we instantiate a missile, and then we say new missile dot target equals target, and then we say new missile dot global position equals I dot global position. Actually, no. We just want the global position of this object here because we want it to come from the center of the player's body. I mean, probably we're gonna have positions on the player at some point. I don't know, whatever. We'll work on that. The crunchies are everywhere. Do I sound like a robot? Is my audio system playing up? It does. Okay. I'm like, I was ready to start unplugging shit. I've had problems in the past. Okay, go global position, get target, okay. Welcome to the chat, growling octopus. So, new missile dot global position, and then we're going to add it as a child, right? So, add child, new missile. And also, but we have to set it as top level because it needs to be able to move independently of the player. So top level equals true. And then it's global position equals global position, add child, new missile. What else does it need? What else does it need? So we set, we need to set the damage as well. New missile dot set damage equals damage. Okay. I think I'm good, right? Like we set that and we spawn it and then we go to the next one and we base its target practice on those kind of things. And then potentially we could move these further out from the player so that we get like more variation. So we will minimize this, not maximize. So the markers can be moved further, I reckon. Oh, there is one at the center. Let's just put it down. Do it in like a circle kind of thing, but not really. So then that way, like if something is closest to this, so we'll make this, what, 100? Let's actually like make them a sensible number. I don't even know if I want that one, just delete it. Negative 100, negative 60, I guess. And then just make these 0, negative 60. We go like this, okay, and then this is 100 and negative 60, and then this is 100. Easy, okay, cool. And so whatever's closest to these nodes is what we're gonna spawn. And then, okay, so we got that, everything is set. Damage, we're making it 10. That means it's gonna do 50 damage all up if you hit every single thing. If there's only one target on screen, maybe it's a bit low, I don't know. That's 5 bullets. That's the equivalent because they do the same amount of damage. So like, yeah. Anyway. We have to make this cost energy as well. We'll get to that. Enemy detection. That's not assigned. Okay. So we assigned that, and that is pretty much it, I think. I honestly, let's have a look at the tank and see what it's doing when it's spawning, because I'm kind of curious to see if I'm missing anything. Set target. How are we doing now? Yeah, we're back. I think I sound a little high-pitched, but we'll just roll with it. My voice is definitely lower than that, guys. I don't have... It's not my filter didn't break. I promise. Like, I don't have a filter on my voice. There's nothing like that. It's a little weird and choppy. Let's try it a third time. What about now? Oh yeah, we're back. Okay, so I just plugged the filter back in. Okay, I don't know why it does that. I really need to replace it. That was funny though, because the crunchy comment had absolutely nothing to do with the sound, just a random thought about crunchy things. Yeah, you said that, and that's what I thought was exactly happening. I was like, oh, do I sound bad? Is the audio bugging out? Because it does do that sometimes, you know? Launch projectile. So we are doing missile, instantiate. We get the window, get seen. Ah, I don't know if I like that. Why am I doing that? Why didn't I just set this as a child of... Oh, because I don't want it to despawn. But I think there's a better way to do this now, right? So there's a node, 2D, and I think I can go to game state dot current scene, and that'll actually give me the node of the level. And current scene is a node 2D. Okay, easy. So we just do a change there. Hopefully that doesn't cause... But yeah, I'm just setting it as global position, top level true. I don't really need to do that if I'm setting it as the current scene child. Do we do the same thing for the player? Or do we make it a child of itself? So if he dies, then it stops happening. I wonder what's better. Anyway, we set its global position. We set a target. Oh, there's a function called launch. Okay. Launch target equals target velocity equals velocity up plus b. Okay, so it goes up a bit first. But we are going to set its target directly and then just have it do whatever. It should work. We just know that it exists. And if it doesn't work the way that we expect it to, we can change it. Okay, so let's attach this to the player and see if we can activate it in the ability manager. And then we'll worry about like equipping it later. Ability manager. Right, so we've got this, and it should just be, I just need to press the S key and that should activate and do stuff. We're not even worrying about energy right now. You should just be able to do this. It won't stop you from moving. There's nothing. We're just going to test that it actually works and then worry about the rest of the stuff. Turn off the sound of the game. Okay. Actually, I probably want to start a new game. Just in case. Okay, let's go find a place where there's some enemies, which is just here. There's two. Oh, I just killed one. Okay, so we get a crash. Current ability to activate. We have not set the current ability. I always forget this kind of stuff. Current ability. Let's just set an export bar so I can set the current ability in the inspector. Okay, try again. Oh, he's doing it in the wrong spot. Am I getting... I'm not getting any kind of error. I'm not doing... Nothing is happening. Okay. So that is not working. I wonder why. If ability pressed ability? Current ability dot activate. If event is action pressed. Activate. That is the right function. Are we not finding any targets maybe? Is that what it is? Potentially? Because I've got it just to stop and not do anything. Okay. Okay. Let's have a look. Target null. Target array size 1. Object ID. Target. It's a base enemy. Okay, so we do have one target in our array. Step into this. We're getting our distance. And then we're going to go through this, and it's going to be... if target is less than distance, we should probably set the target to be the 0 as well, because it's not ever going to be less than or equal to. This is what's happening. This is actually coming back as null. I already know, because this isn't going to evaluate to be true, because I don't have any alternatives to test against. So I should probably also, when I do this, is just set the target to the first one in the list. Target equals target 0. Right. And then we can go that. And then that should... We should be sending all of these rockets directly to that one object. Oh, that just... They damaged the player. Therefore, I just... That's so funny. Okay, we can fix that. So the hitbox is targeting the player. Yeah, player hitbox. They also hit the world. But we can set the layer. We can create a function for that. We can make that the default. But we can also set layer, target layer. And we go void. Okay, so how do we set that? It has a bit mask, right? Bit value, bit 4, bit 5. Enemy hurt box is bit 3. So that would be what we're targeting. So we can say hitbox dot layer collision layer dot set mask. How do we do this? I forget. Get the collision mask, see collision mask, collision layer. What's the function called? Get collision layer value. Set collision layer value. Right, here we go. And then it's a layer number and value true. Okay, that's based on value. Enables or disables a specific value in the collision layer given the layer between 1 and 32. Oh, okay. That's pretty easy. Set collision layer value. Value 8. Right? That's what I'm going to be looking for. Layer number. Or do we go for layer value? Based on value. Enables or disables the collision layer given a layer number between 1 and 32, which is... That's 128. 16? 128? Between 1 and 32. It's got to be this then. To just hard code that 4. Okay. What was the name of the function? Jesus. Brain. Set collision value. And then I guess it's 4 and its value is true. Target layer. Okay, but that's not really how we want this to work. We want to pass in an array of values and then change them. Or we just like layer as an int, right? And then we just pass that in. We call it true, but we also need to like remove the current layer. So how do we do that? We need to know what the current layer is. So we probably need to create a variable for this. So we go current layer. We'll call it like, we'll just make it 5 because that's what we know what it is. Quite right. Current layer. Set collision value, layer value, layer, current layer to be false. Right, and then we say current layer is equal to layer, something like that. Yeah. Easy. Okay, so then we can switch layers to layer 4, and I guess we do it with the mask as well, because we're doing both. So let's just copy this, paste this in, and this is set collision mask value. Like that. Okay. So, then in the missile barrage, we can, as we're spawning these, before we add as a child, we need to set, we go new missile dot set layer. We save it. Target layer. Let's call it set target layer. And I pass in 4. Okay. Hopefully that won't do damage to us now. We'll see. We'll see if that's right. Hey, they all went to that one. So I can only do it once? Not working anymore. Oh, do these guys not count as enemies? Interesting. Now, it would be nice if they all came out as a different direction. I guess like, we can use that launch function to do that and make the direction of the initial, because right now it just goes in whatever. No, I want to find 2 enemies together to see if we can get it to split. Apparently these don't count. I need to find out what layer they're on if they're not getting detected by our current system. Ouch, okay, they've got a taste of my own medicine now. I want to get both of these guys on screen. There we go. That does work as expected. It just doesn't work for these. So why not? Let's go have a look at the level. So what is a crawler if it's not an enemy? The bullet detects it. Enemies. Crawler. Collision. Oh. No, that's not right. Okay, yeah, no, wait, what the fuck? They don't have a layer. They're not on a layer. I guess their hitbox, they have a hurt box, but they're not on layer 2 or layer 3. That's really interesting. Why not? Is there a reason for that, or is it just an oversight? (3-1)? Well, they don't have to have a mask if they don't. We don't really want them to interact with the world. These crawler dudes, and then same. We want like everything. So even the floaters and stuff like that should be getting detected. Floater prototype. Well, I mean, this doesn't have a collision, so okay, we can't detect this because it's not a collision body, right? Unless we say that we're detecting bodies. I think we're not detecting areas, so like that, putting the area for the hitbox on layer 3, I don't think will work. We'll have to view that in a second. So floaters won't get detected, but crawlers, they are character bodies, so I don't see why not. And then even like the sweeper, right? This kind of enemy, in theory, could just be on collision to be detected. Okay. Let's see if I've broken the game. I like. Okay, so now the only thing is then I want them to sort of fan out rather than just like go in the direction. So I think we have a function built into the missile to sort of have it do that, called launch, which is sort of, it gives it a starting direction, and the way this works, it sort of turns, it's got steering and it's slow. So we've got a steer force of 0.2. If we launch at a velocity that is based on the target of its I value, I forget what it's called. It's like a starting point, I don't know. But yeah, so if we go back to barrage, we actually call launch, right? So new missile dot launch, and it wants a position, which we can say is I dot global position. Actually, we don't want that. Just comment that out. We actually want the direction, not the direction. We want the, yes, we do want the direction var. Is a vector 2, and it's equal to global position dot direction to I dot global position. Apparently that doesn't want to turn up. Okay. And then we can go, that is the direction. And what's the other thing that it wants? Why is it doing this? Come on, man. It wants a target. And we have that, don't we? Then we don't necessarily need to set that. Let's see how it looks. Let's see if we've broken it. I think it kind of does what I'm expecting it to. I guess the only thing is, if there's only one target on screen, I kind of want it to look like it's coming out of like a plume, essentially. I wonder if I make the steer force like even slower. But then they might have a hard time actually hitting the target. We'll worry about that, I guess. Yeah, because like even if there's just one target on screen, which we can emulate over here, right? It's always they're all gonna come out and go in the same direction. So that's not what we want. Yeah, we don't want that at all. So how do we fix? Because the direction 2 is always going to be global position dot direction 2I dot global position. Is it, do we need to like reverse that for this to work? It should be like facing the... So hard to look at. I dot global position dot direction 2 and then global position. Like invert that, see if it changes the way that it behaves. Why is it a warning? Why is it giving me a warning? Method directions not present on the inferred type. It's a marker 2D. Jesus. Excuse me. Okay, that didn't change anything. Yeah, that's weird. And I do actually think this should be reversed. Then what does launch do? We actually say that it's target equals target position. I don't do anything with. Should this be position multiplied by speed? Wait, we just go straight up. Not even using the variable. I wonder if that's going to break like the way that it works. Yes. Cannot call get overlifted on a null value. Right. Where's that? Why that not? What? Okay. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you. Also, why are they not doing any damage now? Looks sick though, right? They need to be behind the player, I guess. We're gonna make this cost energy, and we're gonna put a delay, probably. But that looks cool. That's... So, powerful one should have tails, yeah. We should add like a thingo to it. We'll work on that at some point. What? Why are they suddenly not doing damage? What the hell? Set damage. Damage equals 0. What happened here? Oh, that's an interesting development. They no longer have a target, so they no longer do anything. So I guess what we want to happen here, since these were never developed with the player in mind, if they no longer have a target, they should just travel in a straight direction. So let's go to the missile. Damage 0 new game company. Casual cozy titles. Classic. Get direction. So what are we doing in the physics process? We're saying velocity. Okay, so we get a direction, and the direction starts off as vector 2.0, and it returns a direction if there's a target. So if we set the direction on the launch to be this, and then, because that is the direction, it's called position here. I don't think I'm using this anywhere else. I could rename this, right? Starting direction. Right. I don't think that'll break the enemies. And then here direction equals direction, right? And that way, if it ever drops, it just keeps going in the direction that it's meant to go, right? Like, direction equals get direction. Rather than setting it to 0, but we need a global direction because we don't have one to begin with. I wonder if that's bad. We're about to find out. Sometimes you just got to test it out. And that way I can start the direction, and then just like do that. And then we return direction, and then we can just go for Happy? Okay.
All right. I got a little nod off.
Hey, Miguel Roland 21. Thank you so much for the follow. And then we can say that direction equals starting direction. And then profit. If there is no target, then the direction just maintains the same as what it was before there was a target. In theory. We are working on a little Metroidvania. We've got a lot in place, Miguel. So we've got, you've got your combat. It's going to be a little bit like Mega Man or Metroid, probably. We've got, you can shoot. We've got enemies, we've got bosses. And for the last couple of months, really, at this point, we've been working on just building out the systems. So we started out with the shop, so you can come to this thing which is called a replicator, and you can buy items that might help you in your journey. And we've also got a map which is very much very basic at the moment. We're going to add some shaders to that. Basically, it's very much like the original Metroid as you explore around. Actually, there was no map in Metroid, but Super Metroid, I guess. More like those SNES style ones. Even Castlevania Symphony of the Night, it was just squares, right? So it's going to be like that. It's very basic. We have missions. You can actually like talk to people like this guy here, and he'll just give you a mission to kill 5 crawlers. Although it probably won't be like that in the final project. I don't think we're going to have, quests like that. But we can do that and pick that up. We have, as long as you're exploring the map, you get bigger on the, yes. So this, you can actually like explore around, and I believe you can even zoom in. So yeah. It just, every time you walk onto a new chunk, you get that. We've got modifiers, so you can add modifiers to your player to change the way they behave. I need about 40 of these. I need to create 40 of these to actually make it, and then obviously we've got but today we're working on abilities. So something that I've always wanted to add was having the secondary ability. So you've got your shoot, right? But we want to be able to have like a move that is more like powerful, that costs energy. This blue bar in the corner here is your energy. You can use it to heal, but I also want you to be able to use it to do attacks. For example, a missile barrage, right? Which we just created now. And this will lock on to all the enemies on the screen and go towards them. And if it hits something, it hits something. If it doesn't, then it will... I'm getting destroyed. I'm trying to like get some stuff all in the same area. You know what I mean? So, but right now it doesn't cost any energy. And so those do about as much as a bullet, and you shoot 6 of them. That worked, by the way, changing the damage. Where's the other enemy on the screen? So I think that's working pretty well, to be honest. The red missiles are directly guided to an enemy target. Yes, they detect all the enemies. It's not on the screen. It's a little bit below the screen. So this is what it looks like. 3D, 2D. Okay, so this big blue box here, this is the area where it will detect enemies. And basically we've got these points here. And those points will be the sort of guiding point. So like, if there's an enemy over here, the two of the missiles will be sent over here. If there's an enemy over here, then some of the missiles will be sent over here. For the middle missile, I don't know. And if there is no target, well, nothing happens. But yeah, so there's basically just a very rudimentary way of detecting the closest enemy to the point that we're looking at. But it sits at the center, so it's not technically the entire screen. It's more like half the screen, but if you were in the air, which you can activate, you will be able to activate this in the air. It might be the entire screen. Rudimentary, but cool. Yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated. I don't think so. We could do a raycast, you know, like we could do, you could, if you really wanted to get every single enemy on the screen, you could do a raycast from the camera maybe. I don't know about 2D. That'd be easier to do in 3D. I mean, the other thing I'm thinking is you could actually spawn this object, this area that detects everything in the middle of the window, and then grab all the things that it collides with as well. And then raycast from the player to work out the distance. But like, because I want them to be in a fan, this is the purpose of the markers. But yeah, it could definitely be more specific. I think this achieves the look without all the challenge. We'll go with that. So that's that. Okay, so the other thing that I kind of wanted to do, but now that I'm seeing it in action, I'm not sure. I was originally thinking that each one fires like slower. So I actually want this to prevent you from moving. So this is a cost reward kind of thing. You're going to use this ability, you're going to get locked in place. And if you take damage, it will interrupt. So like I was originally going to say like, hey, let's put like a delay on this. So we create another variable here and just call it delay and then make it like 0.1 second. And then between each of these, just put like an await, and then get tree, create timer, and then delay, and then timeout, right? Something like that. And then that way you are firing one and then doing a expected end of statement after a variable. I forgot the word float and then equals. So silly. And then so that way they'll come out one by one with a 0.2 delay. When the computer was super slow, you had to set up multiple layers of checking until two objects got close enough, and then you paid for a check. That cost the most computer, but that was the most accurate. Damn, that's crazy. Back in the day, in my college, there was a project similar to this by creating a neural network to the enemies to get used to your attack patterns. Dude, that's a lot. Some of those hit the ground. That kind of works, but it's not going to have as much impact until we actually stop player movement. So I suppose then the ability class needs to have a signal for complete, because if we're going to prevent the player actions, we need to tell the player when they've finished doing that. So we can have that signal complete, and then we can actually put in a warning at warning ignore unused signal. Okay, we've got that. Easy peasy. So we've got that. And then I'm seeing this when I just switch to Unity. You can make this in Unity. It's really easy. It's not difficult at all to make a game like this in Unity. It might be easier in Godot because it's pure 2D. Even though it's kind of funny now that I think about like what the project is and how it works. Honestly, like here's a valid thing. Like I'm obviously a Godot user. I've learned how to become a game developer using Godot. I couldn't use it's a Metroidvania, Annie. I couldn't use Unity because it would probably take maybe like 6 months to a year to like understand it the same way, maybe even longer, to be honest, because I've been using Godot for such a long time. But in saying that, here's something that's really funny, because like everyone likes to talk like, oh, what game engine is best? I am bringing in a 3D scene to this game, right? And I get this 3D background. And in Godot, in order to do that, you need to have like a sub viewport. I need to align the cameras. I have to have two cameras to draw all this, to have this 3D background. If this was Unity, well, it all happens on a 3D plane, right? So like it would really just be a 3D scene with 2D stuff on it. As far as I'm aware, maybe I'm wrong because I haven't tried Unity, but like, yeah, to get the 3D in this is like, I'm jumping over hoops for that. You can actually have 3 cameras. There's a secret one running on the UI layer. Okay, is that just by default? Because I have to actually have 2 and I have to track their positions to get this, to achieve this effect here. Okay, yeah, there you go. So I have a camera now, and this is just because I don't think that I'll be able to do that. It's a secret default one for most engines. I can't even do player controller. Yeah, well, you start there. Start just making player controllers. That's literally what I did. I made a 2D one, I made a 3D one, I made a bunch of videos about it. But yeah, it's an interesting point where it's like, I think maybe doing this in Unity would have been technically easier to like get this effect. But the other issue, I guess, is like, If I had started it in 3D, then it would really not be that different to anyway. But because it is 2D first game, then that's what makes it difficult. Not really Godot? I don't know. You would waste 1 month waiting for Unity to compile each change by now. True. Godot just flies. Yeah, it's very easy. It's a really super easy engine to use, but it's also very capable and extensible, which makes it my favorite. So what was I doing? Oh, right. So we need to signal when it's done, because I'm saying that this actually is going to prevent the player from moving. So now at the end of activate, we do a signal to say completed, complete.emit. The one issue for me is Godot is that Unity is better for 3D games, in my opinion. Yeah, a little bit. And Godot isn't the best when can say it also has a lot of tutorials. Yeah, that you can steal, you mean inspire from. I mean, there's a lot of tutorials. You're French. Bienvenue to the stream. That's the only word I know. Well, actually, I suppose like all the basics, but that's the one extra word I know. So yeah, we got complete emit when we're done here. So we can go ability manager. So we need to create a state for the abilities. And we'll say, but yeah, Unity might be slightly better when it comes to certain things. Wouldn't know, really, because I only learned the basics. J'adore les YouTubers qui Montreal. Oh, Canadian. I adore YouTubers that show their game. No, Montrent is not Montreal. That's so funny. Okay, so ability. Okay, so inherits. What am I inheriting? I'm inheriting a state. Are we inheriting motion here? We are. Quebecy. I don't understand any of that stuff, eh? It's such a foreign concept. Quebecois? What's the hardest part of making a game? Coming up with an idea. For me, it's Montreal. I just typed that in. That's so funny. For me, it is game design, right? So like, it's really difficult to actually, I would say level design. It's going to be different for different people, right? Like coding is super straightforward for me. I can make any object. I like making objects. I've spent the last 5 years just making prototypes. Focusing and motivating. Yeah, that can be difficult too. There's definitely days where you don't want to do it, but like making levels interesting and doing the artwork is definitely for me something that I'm going to struggle with and I'm going to have to push through. Like I don't want to do it. I was like trying to start on level design and now I'm like trying to think of different things that I haven't done yet so I can just keep doing those because it's like more interesting. This is not in the abilities. This is scenes. We want to go to scripts, player, state machine, states, ability state. For making a game stylized game based on procedural animations, it's my dream to make one monster, by the way. You like the art style? That's good. I'm glad you do, because like I've not really been too sure about it. Art sucks for you? Yeah, it's tough, man. I'll likely hire someone. Yeah. Fortunately, my game doesn't have a lot of art I want to learn though. Like the art style here is like, it's all I can do. Oh, it's going to get cranky because I just added a state. Invalid access. what do I have to do here? I need to add it to the state array, I think. No, that's state interruptible. Well, it is an interruptible state. Array, state interruptible, data, key, ability, and then it's on by default. I find making 3D games easier because 2D games specific, like pixel art, yeah, you have to animate everything, but like the math is a little bit easier. I don't think any of these are going to run. Yeah, they're going to crash because then there's a new state and this save file doesn't like it when there's a new state. But like the art style is this because it's all I'm capable of, which is fine. And then the level design is something that I really struggle with. I was trying to work on platforming levels. So I've got one here which doesn't have any background or anything. Got to go eat Italian sausage. Enjoy your cabana. Oh, I died. So like, oh yeah, how can I make this more interesting? I'm literally just jumping across spikes, you know? I need to study some. I probably need to recreate some like more famous levels. Just like, you know, see how they're laid out to get like a better idea. Just copy some stuff because that's the best way to learn, I reckon. Does it have a class name? I guess it can. Ability. So when you enter, then you... Kevin Lynch has a book about the city being parts and you define that helps you with good game levels. Oh, interesting. I'll have to check it out. The image of the city. Let's chuck that into Google so it's there. Nice. Okay, awesome. This is very similar to the, what's it called? Power up. I actually want this to just do the same thing. So I'm just going to copy the entire function here. Class name ability. Oh yeah. It's ability state, I guess. Okay, so yeah, we're just going to play the power up thingo and then velocity change. We basically set ourselves to be stationary and then in the exit, what do we do here? Function ability finished. And then we can void. And I think I have a way of doing this. I can go finished dot emit, and then I can get next state from input. So if you're like, get next state from input is at the bottom, right? It's not technically get next state from input because we are checking to see if you're like pressing left or right, but also like you could just go into the full state if you're not on the ground. So that's fine. But yeah, okay. So now when we press ability, we are going to need to override the current state. Now the player I think has a function for that, but what do we call this? Like when we get a power up, what happens? Player override state, state machine dot override state. Right, so if we just get override state, then so we can get access to the player ability manager. So if we go to this and go export var ability state machine, state machine. And then when we press this and current ability is activated, we can say, so we just grab that and we can say state machine dot state override state. What is the function called? Jesus. Override. Why wouldn't it just fill that in for me? Because it's probably an inherited... Is there a class for this? It's a player state machine. Make this a player state machine. Override state. And then the state is called ability. And so we pass that into override state. Now, the question is, do we signal to the override state? So we can also, like, how do we exit is essentially the question, right? So I think we just get the ability state, and it's called ability state. Or we could call on it, I guess, right? Ability. We also need to connect func ready exit ability. Exit ability, I guess, yeah, fine. Void. And then this is gonna call the ability state dot ability finished, right? Easy. Now we need a way to do that. This is just gonna come from the current ability dot complete dot connect, and then the callable exit ability. And then when we add an ability, we are going to connect that. So current ability dot connect exit ability. Do we do that after we add child? I don't know. Worry about that in a second because we haven't even got multiples yet. Okay. All right, let's give it a go. So this should fix us in place while we do this. So there will be we will become more vulnerable, right? We want to press F. Okay, so it did work. Invalid call, ability finished in base nil. So I never set that. Yeah, I think this is good though. Where is it? There we go. Getting a lot of buttons now. So that's pretty cool. Probably make it take longer, eh? Let's get some enemies on the screen, see what happens. I like it. Now, we are going to need to, at some point, create a separate animation for that, and then also have a way of loading animations. Now, there is a way that you can do this, and I've done this for various other projects, where in the state machine, we can load up whatever we want for that particular. So we can still have like a transition. So how these work is they go animation player transition request power up. We'll create a new one for it, and it'll just be called ability, right? So this will be a transition state, right? And we can load up whatever we want in these. Goosefat's in the stream and he's reached a 45 stream streak. Congratulations. So yeah, we can just make it, we can replace whatever we want. Ramen engine noodle power. Yeah, for real. I wish these were more organizable. I suppose if I put them in order. So let's start from the top. Because like they're not all the same length. And then something way down here. Be in order. Now they're too close together. Ordered. And then this goes down here, and then this goes down here. Oh my god. This is worse than underneath my desk. So yeah, we'll create a new transition state, and then it'll just load up whatever. So we can do that now, actually. Blender looks over the weeps. Yeah, Blender looks over and weeps, for real. Yeah, you should be able to create node groups and stuff like that. That'd be nice. Lowercase ability. Is power up like it? Oh, look, there's no heal. What the hell? When was there, is there one missing connections? Or is it just nothing for this now? Did I accidentally delete it recently? How long has it been like that? Ability. Animation. Right, and right now this is just going to be power up, but like we can actually set this to anything we want. If you save out the animations. I mean, you don't even have to save out the animations. You can just... I'll have to check how the best way to do it. So, like in the past, I've done it with imported animations from a 3D model. But, power up. Just make it power up for now. And then also the animation for healing is gone. And we're back into noodles. Somewhere around there, right? Replace that. And then, yeah, this can be anything. You can get access to this and change it. So we'll have to just do that at some point when we create multiple animations. Which will be good. So that is on the list of things to do later. And then, yeah, I guess it's really just a matter of creating a few more abilities to test this out so that you can have a couple to choose from. And then that's it. Like, you're kind of done. Like, it's not that hard. So we should create one where he does like a big laser. Goosefat's in the chat. Welcome. Congratulations on the stream streak. Okay. Yeah, that was super easy. I think as well, probably make a delay longer on that one. Maybe I should put more time into the animation, and rather than just taking like a long time between all the animations, that's probably a little bit too long. You're vulnerable for a long time. Oh, and he doesn't work anymore either because, okay, so he needs to be fixed because he's also shooting missiles. And, yeah. Oh, that's an interesting one. We never finish if we don't have any targets on screen. Okay, so let's try and fix that. For iron markers, await key. I wonder, get children if target. Await tree. I don't know why this would not ever complete though. Complete emit. That should still work, right? Oh, there's debugs. Okay, let's check. No input ability animation. Oh. Process, no input. Ability animation, which means We go to estate's ability. Transition request. Player. Yeah, I don't know about that one. We've got some nachos spinning. Okay, like let's look at the tank because the tank's obviously busted. Okay, so when he launches his missile, what does he do? Don't you have to get ready for school, Goose Fat? Oh, it's school holidays, isn't it? I forgot. I was actually hanging out with my nieces yesterday. Okay. The 20th. Next week, right? Damn, that's such a long time, dude. Could you imagine? School's so cool. School's the best. You just get 2 weeks off every couple of months. So what do we set target? Set target? Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, wait. Where is he calling launch? No match, okay. Missile? No match. Wait, what the hell? Attack? Missile. Launch. Bullet point. Global position. Target equals target. I guess we could... first of all, add child after this. And then we also want to set the layer. Set target layer to be layer 4, right? Layer 5? Player hurt box? No, it's layer 2. Delete these. It's there for a second. And I still get process no ability. The school timetable has been updated. One teacher is redacted. What were they in the files or something? What's it colliding with? Oh, I changed this missile and now it's like not. Set player launch. 5. Current layer 5? It should be set to layer 5. That's the wrong... when I called attack on the tank, this should be layer 5, not the player's layer. Let me set that. Why? What is it hitting? It's there for like a really brief second. It probably won't even show up. Very, 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 very quickly, and then gets deleted. It's got to be contacting with something, right? Like... global position, bullet point, add child launch, bullet point, global position, launch, target. And the target is known. I don't know, eh? It's not particularly clear to me. What did I do to it? So the area 2D is detecting the world. The character body... Is the missile suddenly getting detected by this? Is it this? On area body 2D connected? Let's see. Yep. Okay. So it's detecting the layer, members, hitbox target, self, platform form layers, character body 2D, homing missile, direction, current layer 5. What is the variable here? The body. What's it detecting? Tile map. How the heck? It's colliding with the tile map. What? No way, dude. No way. Should it be on this layer? Should it mask this layer? What about the tank? Tank masks the world, but it's not on the world. That's how it's supposed to work. Why? But also, like, why does it work for me and not for it? Special ed? Oh, fair enough. Where's the continue button? Like, like, I'm fine. You know? I'm getting a different kind of error, which is kind of weird, but like... That's a cool ability. I just don't understand why, like, oh, okay, yes. And we've also got this error where we just get stuck. Okay, so we've got a lot of bugs to work out. I really don't understand why the tank is suddenly colliding with the body, with the tile map. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's got to do with the positioning that we're setting for it, like its position in the world, or that, because we did change like how it got the what world it was on, I guess. Like, we were doing this current scene for the scene route. We're setting the target layer to be level 5. Show the beans.
Show the beans.
Nah. Nah. The global position is the bullet.global position. I don't think we need to make it top level, to be honest. And that could be what's causing this issue. Theoretically. Nope. How the frick? Just get stuck. If the guy comes back on screen, do we do anything? We can get out of it. Huh. I don't know. It's really quite bizarre to me that that would be happening for this guy. You know? Something to do with gravity? No, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's kind of weird. got a couple of... Like, if you're just printing out the body, it's just going to say a tile map, right? It's hitting the tile map, but it's not in the tile map, and it's not... Okay, I just learned watching Australian streamers can be bad, not you. Why can they be bad? Why is it hitting the tile map? 202, that's like the world tile map, right? Watching Australian streamers can be bad? What did we do to you? Why specifically us, man? Tile map layer 2. Tile map layer 2. Why does it have to be floating? Why can't it be on the ground? You mean like when I do this? Because it's fun if you can do this. It's strategic, so you could potentially use this to reposition yourself, save yourself from something. I'm always in 2 streams at once. Right now, yours and Hypnotics. I don't know if you know him. No, never heard of him. World connections act entirely based on your time. So if you're like an hour ahead of me, you could do tomorrow's Wordle when it's still today for me. Oh, right. Because it's like based on like the time of your computer, I guess. That's interesting. Another Godot streamer, Hypnotics. Shout out. I'll have to follow him. Maybe I already do. Yeah, I don't know why that's hitting the body. I'm gonna have to investigate that. It's weird for that to start being a problem now. Don't know. Because it's not hitting this tile layer, so why would it be triggering? Doesn't make any sense. But with that being said, I've got to go to work. So maybe I'm gonna go raid Hypnotics. Because maybe he doesn't have like a full-time job and he's like an actual game maker, unlike me who just does this for fun. Is a Mexican from Melbourne, Hellborn Stabtoria? What? Stabborn. Crimes at the... No, anyway. Let's go. Hypnotic Games. This video is either unavailable. Does he stop streaming now as well? What is it? Or not supported in my browser? He's on? Okay, yeah, I don't know why it's saying that to me. Alright. Get out of here. All 4 of yous. I'll see yous later.